For today's quick lesson, we're going to look at both what imaginary and complex numbers are, and specifically look at how to add, subtract, and multiply complex numbers. So let's first start off to discuss what imaginary number is in math. Imaginary number in math is anything of the realm that if you take the square root of -1, that it equals what we call I, which is called the imaginary number. So we use the notation of this little lowercase I to represent square roots of -1. And so what this helps us do is solve quadratic equations that involve imaginary solutions, so don't come out nicely like we've been seeing before. Helps us solve different equations that involve square roots of negative numbers. And so if we introduce this I, that allows us to replace that square root of -1 with a variable, and then we can continue working with that problem. Well, if the square root of -1 is I, and if you square both sides, so if I take the left side and square it, and the right side and square it, well, if I take the left side and square it, what you get is just -1, because the square root of something squared is just, you're left with that radicand part, the inside part, but then on the right-hand side, we can say I squared would be -1 there. And so this is something to keep in mind, that especially if we're doing multiplying or when you're collecting terms and you see an I squared involved, that we can convert that to -1 and then work with that expression after that. So the big two known conversions here is that the square root of -1 is I, and I squared ends up being -1. So let's take a moment to just kind of briefly look at how to simplify these. And so if we're given the square root of -64, well, the first step is you can use the property in the fact that if you have the square root of a times b, that you can split that up separately as the square root of a times the square root of b. It's kind of like when we multiplied expressions, we would start with the multiplication part and then bring it back to one radical symbol. But today we're going to kind of be splitting it up. So the square root of 64, or -64, can be the same as the square root of 64 times the square root of -1. And if I write it this way, the square root of 64 does come out nicely. It's 8. And the square root of -1, we know from the previous slide, is I. And so my final answer for the first one, A, would be 8I. So if I take a look at the second one in B, the square root of -144, let's first step by marking it as the square root of 44 times the square root of -1. The square root of 44 I can break down using simplifying radicals. And so if I break down square root of 44, there's a factor tree of 2 times 22, 2 and 11, and it looks like that's it. So the square root of 44 can be written as 2 times 2 times 11. And so for every pair, I can pull out one of them. And then know that we still have that I involved because the square root of -1 is I. And so I get 2 square roots of 11I, or we better, kind of a better way of writing that is we put that I sort of in between the coefficient and the square root symbol. So a better final answer for letter B would be 2I square root of 11. If I take a look at C now, these ones are pretty quick ones. In fact, the square root of -16 can be written as the square root of 16 times the square root of -1. And so if I write it this way, the square root of 16 is 4, the square root of -1 is I. And so for the first term, it's 4I. For the second one, you can write that as 25 times the square root of -1. And so the square root of 25 is 5, the square root of -1 is I. So right now we have 4I times 5I, and when we get to this stage, 4I times 5I becomes 20I squared. And then remember, we have a conversion formula for I squared. In fact, I squared equals -1. And so if I replace the I squared with -1, I get a final answer of -20 for letter C. And the last one, this one is an example where you combine both real and imaginary parts, which we'll call complex numbers here in a little bit. But the square root of 9 is just the square root of 9. It's just 3. And so that comes out nicely. minus, now the square root of negative 18, I can think of it as square root of 18 times the square root of negative 1. Square root of 81. Square root of 81 is 9, and the square root of negative 1 is I. And so I guess my final answer would be 3 minus 9i, because we can't collect those terms. We have a real part and an imaginary part. So take a moment and see if you can try to simplify these 4 problems. You can pause the video, try the best you can, and we'll go over these here in a few seconds. Good luck. So for the first one, 144 is a nice square number. In fact, you can split that up as square root of 144 times the square root of negative 1. Square root of 144 is 12 exactly, and the square root of negative 1 is I, so you should have got a final answer of 21i there for letter A. For letter B, the first step would be breaking that up as square root of 80 times the square root of negative 1. The square root of 80, if I kind of focus on simplifying that, making a factor tree, it's 2 times 20, it's 2 and 10, 10 is 2 times 5, and so the square root of 80 can be written as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. And though since there's a square root, that means for every pair I can pull out 1. And so the square root of 80 itself, I believe, is 4 square roots of 5. And with that I involved, my final answer would be 4i square root of 5. We like to put the imaginary part between both the number and the square root symbol there. The next one, if I have a square root of negative 36 and times the square root of negative 4, well, the square root of negative 36, that's 36 times negative 1, and the square root of 36 itself is 6. The square root of negative 1 is I. So that first term becomes 6i. The second one, doing that same process, I believe you get 2i, because it comes from the square root of 4 times the square root of negative 1, so it would be 2i. And so if I multiply these two together, 6i times 2i, well, 6 times 2 is 12. I times I becomes I squared. And then remember, anytime you see I squared, we can replace that with negative 1. And so your final answer for C would have been negative 12. And lastly, this is just a refresher about simplifying radicals itself. And so if you break down square root of 20, which is 2 times 10, 2 times 5, that can be broken down to 2 square roots of 5 when you're simplifying, minus square root of 80 we kind of already broken down. In fact, the square root of 80 we found out to be 4 square roots of 5 up here. And so together we get minus 4 square roots of 5 there. And notice that since these are the same, we have 2 square roots of 5 minus. That's going to get me a total of negative 2 square roots of 5 overall. So this one's an example that doesn't involve imaginary numbers. It's just simply subtracting 2 radicals type question. So what is a complex number? And we already got a little taste of a complex number on the first slide that I went over some problems on. And in fact, looking back on that one, we did come up with an answer of 3 minus 9i for one of them we went over. And so anytime you have a real number involved, so the 3 ends up being what's called the real number part, and the 9 is called an imaginary number. Anytime they're combined as one expression, like so, those are called complex numbers. So a complex number involves both the real number and the imaginary part. There is a standard form that we use for complex number. In fact, it's a plus bi or a minus bi would be the standard form of a complex number, where the real part is always listed first and the imaginary part is listed second. And so we wouldn't come up with answers today as 3i plus 4. That would be technically incorrect. We would write that answer as 4 plus 3i in the end overall. But in the next few slides, we're going to look at how to add, subtract, and multiply these complex numbers together. So let's take a look at these 3 examples together before I have you guys try some on your own. This is an example of one of each. The first one you're adding, second one you're subtracting to, and then the third one you're multiplying. So we're going to look at one of each here. But when you're adding, subtracting, and multiplying complex numbers, for adding and subtracting, it's really collecting like terms. And you want to collect both the real parts. So if we took a look at the real parts for A, the real parts are 4 and -3, and we're adding those together. So 4 plus a -3 ends up being +1. So we took care of the real parts. And then you want to look to collecting the imaginary parts, the ones with I in it. And so here we have -5i plus a -6i would be more negative. And in fact, if you collect those, -5 minus 6 becomes -11i. And remember your real parts first, your imaginary parts second, so that would be our final answer for letter A. For letter B, when you're subtracting, it's similar to when we subtracted functions, that second set of parentheses definitely going to matter here, because that negative sign, when I distribute that through, is going to affect all the signs of those terms. And so the first set of parentheses we can just drop. The second set of parentheses, if I distribute that, that becomes +5 and then +8i. Now that I've gotten rid of all the parentheses here, it's really about collecting like terms. And so if I look at my real parts here, -3 and +5 gives me +2. And then my imaginary parts, -i plus 8i, looks like gives me total of +7i, and this would be my final answer for letter B. Now for letter C, when you're multiplying these two, and since it's a complex number which involves two parts, you have a 2-term times a 2-term, so we can use that FOIL technique here. And when we do FOIL, the very first represents the 2 times 5 there, so 2 times 5 is 10, so we took care of the F in FOIL. The outside, the O stands for the outside 2 terms, so we're talking about the 2 times the -3 there, and 2 times -3i would become -6i overall, and that takes care of the O part in FOIL. In the I, that'd be inside, so that we're talking about the inside 2 terms, the ones closest to each other. So 4i times 5i becomes +20i. Takes care of the I term in FOIL, and then L stands for last. So the last part meaning the 4i times the -3i. Well, 4 times -3 is -12. And I times I would become I squared there, and that takes care of the L in the last part for FOIL. Now the next step is collecting like terms, and what you're going to notice here with multiplying, especially for these ones, you have an I squared involved, and you should have an I squared involved, especially if both terms involve an I. And remember, we can replace I squared with -1 there. And so final answer here, if I collect the 2 middle terms, so let's see, we got 10, the 2 middle terms become +14i. That very last term, if I sub in -1, would actually make it +12 now, which allows me to collect these 2 terms, those constant terms. And remember, your answers, the real part is always first. So our final answer here would be, looks like 22 plus 14i. So I want you to take a moment, pause the video, and see if you can try these 2 on your own, and we'll go over these here in a few seconds. Good luck. So for the first one, for letter A, remember the first set of parentheses you really don't need, but the second set, in order to drop those, you have to distribute. So negative times 3 would become -3, and then a negative times -6i becomes +6i. We're collecting terms here, and so when we do that, the real parts become -7. The imaginary parts, looks like -5i plus 6i becomes +1i, or just +i itself. And then that would be my final answer for A. For B, you're going to have to FOIL. And the F for FOIL would be 5 times 5. That ends up being 25. Outside represents the O, so that'd be 5 times -2i, and that would be -10i overall. Inside would also be, looks like +2i times 5 would be +10i. And the very last here, first off, 2 times -2 is -4, and I times I would become I squared. Remember, anytime you see an I squared, that we can replace that with -1. And if I collect the 2 middle terms here, notice the middle terms cancel. In fact, I have 10i minus 10i, that's gone. And if I replace that -1 there, it becomes +4 overall at the end. And so 25 plus 4, final answer here would be actually 29. So we get a numerical answer back. No i's involved. So here's a chance for you to get some more practice out there. Check the Canvas page for what your homework is for the day. Don't forget to check the key that's out there, and don't forget to submit the homework quiz before the end of the day. With that said, have a great rest of your day, guys.